Assalamualaikum, bismillah. Just want to, I'm going to add on to the last session in which I was talking about the common issues that many converts have, okay, with depression, anxiety, identity issues. Um, and I talked about, you know, the major causes of that, okay? But I'm going to focus right now on the issue of anxiety and try to, first of all, let people know what anxiety feels like, okay? And then to understand the causes, okay? So imagine that, and this is not for, what every convert has experienced. This is mostly for converts who enter Islam young, for converts who come into the community and don't, uh, okay, okay, if you're away from your native relationships, okay, so like in my case and so many cases, I became a Muslim and decided I had to relocate to find a Muslim community. Okay, now what does that mean? Okay, suddenly in one day, you pack up and leave your family, your friends, you know, girlfriends, whatever, the people that you knew, the people who knew you, the people that you loved, the people who loved you, the people that you spent time with, the people that you talked to, the people that, would hang out, the people that you could discuss secrets with, the people that you depended on, okay, in so many ways. I mean, emotionally and, you know, to have fun, to learn together, to, or even economically. And when you suddenly lose all those relationships, okay, you have lost, I'm going to say you've just suddenly lost like 80% of yourself, okay? We are social beings. Allah made us that way. That's why we are called Bani Adam, okay? The children of Adam, all right? And we're socially dependent. We depend on each other for basically everything, okay? Economically, learning, support, somebody to talk to, somebody to have fun with, a shoulder to cry on, whatever, and you suddenly lost that. And then you come into a community where the vast majority of Muslims are from other countries, okay? And so you're suddenly around people, and you're trying to learn your Islam. That's really, what you're there for, okay? But you're around people with very, very different cultures, okay? You should see that this is a problem, guys. And I'm not talking about, every culture to their own, no. I'm talking about the effect that it has on you, okay? When you can't have just like a normal conversation about the things that you're used to talking about, or when you have issues you need help with and you can't find anybody that relates to you because they haven't been through it. Okay, it's a serious problem. That's like a blanket of loneliness. Okay, okay, it's like I mean that's bad. That's very problematic. And in all of the studies that have been done, the loneliness issue has always been brought up. All right, but here I'm talking about being stripped of your culture being stripped of what what I call, your native self. Okay? And so I'm going to get back to what Martin Heidegger was talking about when he used this term angst. Okay? And I mentioned in the previous session, okay, so anybody who's had anxiety, I'm not talking about little fidgety anxiety. No, I'm talking about that terrifying feeling of suddenly feeling that you're not yourself. Okay? That terrifying sense of sudden fear. Okay? And there is some association between anxiety and panic attacks. Okay? But they're not the same. Okay? And I am one of very few people that you'll ever meet who has gone through the right program and the only program that can actually cure panic attacks. Okay? Psychological meds, psychiatric meds will not do it. Okay? They won't. They can help you with anxiety. They will not get rid of your panic attacks. And anybody who's had chronic panic attacks knows this. Okay? But getting back to the issue of anxiety, Heidegger talking about angst, the sudden sense that you left your native self behind somewhere. Okay? And that's what he was talking about. He was talking about that you have gone through a period in your life in which you were not paying attention to you. Okay? And that can very easily happen if you suddenly, let's say, I'm an American and I marry into, an Arab family or a Desi family. Okay? You're you're not around your native people in a situation like that. Okay? And that is a part of your identity and it's a part of like how you process things. I mean, just to be able to have a normal conversation with somebody helps you psychologically. That's basically what counselors do. Okay? So understand this is critical. Okay? And so Heidegger talked about this feeling of angst, anxiety, being just like the sudden realization that you've left yourself behind somewhere. And I want to give an example, okay, for those of us who have experience with, the old overhead projector that we used to use, the transparent plastic, and you put the transparency on the on the tablet, and it shines and it reflects up on the screen to show you pictures, images. Okay, so imagine that you have two transparencies. On one of them, you have a red square, and on the other one, you have a blue square. Now, when you lay them on top of each other, what do you have? You have a purple square. Okay? Now, let that represent your natural, normal, native you. Okay? Let that be a representation of you being you. Okay? Your identity's fine. You're with the people that you're always with. You're doing the things that you always do. Okay. And then comes a day that you lose that. You lose your normal activities. You lose your normal relationships. You lose your normal conversations. So, what you're doing then is you're pulling those two transparencies apart. Okay? And suddenly you've got a blue square sitting by itself. Angst, anxiety comes in in that sudden sensation that you have when you see that you've become a blue square and you don't know where the purple square went. Okay? You lost, your sense of self. You lost your grounding, and that's what people who suffer anxiety talk about. Okay? I don't feel like me. I don't feel like myself. I feel lost. I feel transparent. Oh my God. I used to tell people like I feel like a vapor. I feel like I'm not even here. You know, it's real and it's absolutely terrifying, and it can really screw up your life. And the thing is, you can go to all the psychiatrists in the world. They can't solve it. They can give you medications to help you like calm down, or if you're having like say a serotonin imbalance and you're not sleeping well, okay, you can take good medicines for that. But what do you do to get back to your normal self? That's what you have to do. And that's why I don't apologize to people about listening to music. I listen to hard ass rock and roll. I listen to heavy metal. That's what I grew up with. Okay? I'm not going to apologize. I don't listen to bad music. I don't consider it bad music, you know? And honestly, my whole life, if anything didn't have, I mean, some kind of useful message to it, it wasn't my kind of music anyway, you know? But I mean, things like Led Zeppelin and, I mean, there's a lot of artistry there. There's a lot that it's, or All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, originally written by Bob Dylan. Okay, it's a piece of literature put to music. Okay, that's a part of my culture. And I'm not. It didn't stop me from teaching myself Arabic, teaching myself Quran, teaching myself Hadith, teaching myself fiqh, teaching myself Sirah, teaching myself Tafsir, and developing the most advanced programs in the entire Muslim country. Okay, and I rock out. Okay, you know, and I don't mean just on my phone. No, I have a killer sound system, and I use it. Okay, I enjoy movies. I love science fiction. Okay, because I grew up with that. I grew up reading science fiction. That's a part of who I am. Okay, and honestly, like when I go into a masjid, I'm fine going into a masjid. But when I'm spending too much time there, and all the people around me are, Pakistanis or, Palestinians, I lose my sense of self, and it's not comfortable. I like having people that when I have a conversation, we understand each other. Okay, that's what normal human beings do. And my dear convert brothers and sisters, you have to look after yourselves. All right, this is very serious. You can wreck your life. Okay, when your mental health crashes, okay, that's just another problem, and you've already got a long list of problems that you're dealing with. Okay, I really hope that this is helpful. Okay, Assalamu alaikum.